If you've been watching gameplay of Monster Hunter Wilds beta or running the benchmark demo, you might be worried about how this game's going to perform when it finally drops. Maybe you've seen the low frame rate, stuttering, low polygon models, and now it's got you thinking about upgrading your GPU to prepare for the game's release. But before you pull out your wallet, let's get one thing straight. The beta and benchmark demo are not representative of the final product. Making purchase decisions based on these early unoptimized builds is a mistake, and here's why. I'm going to go over 3 reasons why this is a bad idea, and I'm going to tell you what you can do right now and over the next couple months to save yourself some cash. Let's do this. Number 1, the beta is over 4 months old, and it shows. The Monster Hunter Wilds beta is actually based on a build of the game that's at least 4 months old, sometime back in early November. In the world of game development, 4 months is an eternity. During that time, the developers have been busy fixing bugs, optimizing performance, and polishing the game for release. They've even told us as much several times. Now, you can choose not to believe Capcom when they tell you things, and I get that. It's one thing when a game developer or publisher makes bold claims about a product. I can understand maybe not believing everything you hear in that respect, but when a publisher is straight up telling you this is not a very good quality product, you probably should believe them. And that's what they've been doing right along. All right. If you know how to read, and if you have been listening, I've heard it in multiple channels, multiple avenues. They have put the message out there, the beta. It does not include optimizations and bug fixes. So it's on you if you don't want to listen to what everyone's telling you. Well, almost everyone, and we'll get to that. So what does this mean for the performance? Obviously, the performance issues you've seen in the beta, whether it's really terrible visuals, whether it's low frame rates, or any other kind of weirdness, these are being addressed. Capcom's taking care of it. They understand. They're working on it. It's not like they needed feedback on any of that stuff anyway. Those are the obvious things. And those are the things that get worked out in the last couple months. And in the first couple months of release, developers use betas to identify and fix issues, not to showcase the final product. And Capcom has even told us that primarily this beta is to test their netcode. They want to know if the servers are going to be able to handle 2 million people all connecting on the same day. That's why we have the beta, folks. Not so you can see how awesome the game is. They just want you to connect to a lobby with 150 other people and see how quickly the servers crash. You guys really are beta testers. Weird that you would have a terrible play experience on a beta. Okay. So by the time the game launches, it will run significantly better than what you're seeing now. You would think that would go without saying, but so many people right now are making it sound like this is close to the final release, and you're making that assumption, and wrong way to go. So judging Monster Hunter Wilds based on a beta is it's like judging a movie based on a rough cut, judging a book on a first draft. It's not fair to the developers. It's not fair to you. You're not being fair to yourself. Who cares about being fair to the developers? You're not even being fair to yourself. So if you are thinking about upgrading your GPU, if you do actually upgrade your GPU based on a beta's performance, you're making a purchase decision based on bad information, and that is always bad. Number 2, the benchmark demo. It's closer to the performance you can expect at launch, but it's still not final. The benchmark demo is more recent build than the beta, but it's still not representative of the final product. The benchmarks are designed to stress test your system, not to showcase the game's optimal performance. That's what a benchmark is for, folks. Try to throw as much processing power at your system and see how it handles it. But again, it's not representative of what the final product is going to look like. So when you see people running a benchmark and saying, oh, look at the terrible quality and the upscaling, et cetera, and so forth, that's not the point of the benchmark. The point of the benchmark is to test your system's power against a pre preset run through of the game engine. It's not there to show you how awesome the game looks, okay? It's there to give you a rough idea, and I stress the word rough, idea, not what the game looks like, not how the game's going to perform, but how well your system is going to perform. Is your system up to the task of handling this game? So what does this mean for you? If your system is struggling with the benchmark demo, first of all, don't panic. The final version of the game will almost certainly run better than even this benchmark, thanks to optimizations and bug fixes that are taking place right now as we speak. So upgrading your GPU based on benchmark results. For example, let's say you only got 45 frames per second and you turned off frame gen and you turned off upscaling and all this stuff, and you only got 45 frames, and that's not good enough for you. Don't fear, with the exact same settings, you will get more frames on day one. I guarantee it. I think the benchmark was released primarily to keep people from doing precisely what I'm suggesting you do, to keep people from overreacting to all the negativity. Overreacting is going to lead to unnecessary upgrades on your part and wasted money. Instead of rushing out to buy a new GPU, give the developers time to optimize the game. You might be surprised at how well it runs on your current hardware. The third reason why you should hold off on upgrading your GPU is precisely what this situation leads into. If you've been watching YouTube videos about Monster Hunter Wilds, you probably noticed a lot of negativity from certain YouTube channels concerning the performance of Monster Hunter Wilds. Some creators are quick to criticize the beta's performance, the benchmark performance, while other people are even spreading conspiracy theories about AI-based frame generation and low polygon models. This is the type of panic that I'm warning you against. This is the type of overreaction that I'm warning you against. It's because there are people out there spreading nonsense, treating the benchmark as if this were the final game and that this is how it's going to look. That's what we really need to guard ourselves against. Now, why do YouTubers love controversy? The answer is obvious. You guys know this by now, the cynical amongst you. Negativity drives clicks. It's as simple as that. YouTubers know that controversy sells. So they're going to exaggerate issues, or they're going to focus on the worst aspects of a game just to generate views. And this, of course, creates a distorted picture of the game's quality and performance. The truth is, most of these YouTubers don't have access. In fact, nearly all of them don't have access to the final build of the game. And in fact, the people who do have access to the final build, they are keeping their mouths shut because they signed an embargo agreement. They're not allowed to say anything. So the people who are smack talking Wilds right now have not played a final build, haven't played anything close to a final build, and they have no idea how this thing's gonna run. They're judging Wilds based on the same beta and benchmark demo that you are. And they're doing it for clicks, not for accuracy or truth or fairness. So don't let their negativity influence your decisions. It's really unfortunate when certain channels are cherry picking screenshots of the benchmark and claiming that this is what the final version is going to look like, and then claiming that if you want to play on 4K Ultra, you're going to have to spend a lot of money. It's too bad that Capcom can't make 4K Ultra 120 frames per second accessible to people with 5-year-old video cards, and nonsense like that. That kind of nonsense is why I have to make this video. It's unfortunate, but I do. There's too many people out there spreading nonsense and spreading fear and just trying to drive engagement through negativity. So what should you be doing right now instead of shopping for a GPU? I'm going to tell you this. If your GPU was manufactured in the last 5 years, do not worry about a thing. It will run this game fine. All right. Don't buy into the frame gen nonsense. Don't buy into the upscaling nonsense. And by that, I mean, don't buy into the conspiracy theories about frame gen is evil and upscaling is evil and all this bullshit. The best thing that you can do right now is to wait for the final release of the game. It will almost certainly run better at launch than it does in the beta or benchmark demo for any given person. Give the developers the time to optimize the game before making decisions about your hardware. I know I might sound like your dad telling you to be rational and reasonable, But you know what? He's right. Now, once the game is released, test it on your current hardware. I have an RX 6650 XT. It's going to run fine. But I also have a second machine with an RX 580. Okay? An RX 580. Do you know how old that is? Yeah, it's old, but it's also quite powerful, even for being as old as it is. And it's got 8 gigabytes of VRAM. I'm going to test it on that one too when the final game comes out, just so that anyone who felt the need to upgrade their GPU ahead of time can feel a little disappointed in themselves, because I have every confidence that it's going to perform well enough on the RX 580 to be playable. If you do realize that you need to upgrade, that's fine. That's just part of being a PC gamer, right? At least you'll have a better idea of what kind of performance you're looking for. You will have run the game. All your friends will run the game. A million other people will be giving feedback as to what cards work really well. And you will be so much better informed as to what you need to buy. And you could save a lot of money. Instead of, one guy I know is like, oh, I need to play this on a RX 4090. And he's like, well, you know what? I'm gonna hold off for an RX 5090. What are you talking about? If you're gonna spend $3,000 on a graphics card just so you can play Monster Hunter Wilds, no, you're not. That is fear and paranoia run wild. All right. The last thing you could do right now, save yourself some money, ignore YouTubers. Don't let the negativity from YouTubers influence your purchase decisions. Wait for trusted reviews and community feedback before making any judgments about this game's performance. Now is not the time to panic. All right, let me just wrap this up by saying, in conclusion, don't fall for the hype. The Monster Hunter Wilds beta and benchmark demo are not representative of the final product. Making purchase decisions based on these early unoptimized builds is a mistake, one that could cost you hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Instead of upgrading your GPU based on bad information or fear or uncertainty, wait for the final release and test the game on your current hardware. Don't let the negativity influence your decisions. Remember, these guys are in the business of generating clicks, not providing accurate information. All right, guys, still not convinced? What do you think? Are you guys going to upgrade your GPU? Do you have older GPUs, 8-year-old, 10-year-old? Anyone still rocking a 1080 Ti, 1060? What was that really famous one from like 10 years ago? How many of you are waiting to upgrade before the final release? Let me know in the comments. And have a great day, guys. Also, if you got an RX 6650 XT as well, let me know. I saw someone on the Discord benchmark this thing with an RX 7900 XTX. Insane stuff. I'd rather have just the 7900 XT. XTX has too much power for me. All right. I will see you in the next one. Head over to the Discord. Have some fun there. Leave some comments. Push some buttons. Click some thumbs ups. And see you soon.